Well, if you remember a while back, it must have been maybe last summer, maybe the summer before, I don't know, I lose track of time. But I had transplanted some rhubarb that was down by that old abandoned farmstead, you know, that was like a mile away from here. It was back in a shady spot, so it was all overgrown, and the rhubarb was just really puny. You know, I found, I think, 4 or 5 of them, and I kind of felt fortunate to even find them because there wasn't much there. But I know they'd always been there, you know. It's just that the trees had grown up and shaded, and you know, the soil had just become depleted. Well, I brought them home and planted in the garden, and they just took off. Went like crazy. Huge plants. So I was canning up a bunch of it to make pie filling, you know, for in winter. Doing it in quarts. You only had a choice. A pint? Well, that's not quite enough for a pie. Quart? That's maybe a little too much. But a lot of times I'll use, instead of a pie plate, these big tin plates, and make a pie in them, and that'll work. But anyway, as things usually work when I'm canning, whatever I end up canning, I end up eating for supper, because you always end up with an odd amount that doesn't fit in the canner, you know, or it doesn't fill the last quart jar. So I ended up making a pie out of the remnants. And we'll just see, well, she's still warm. See if she comes out of there, because the rhubarb can be tricky. It might be better if she was colder. The trick with rhubarb, when you're gonna mix it up and put it in the oven, this ain't quite the right tool for this. Oh yeah, I think she's gonna work. Yeah. What you gotta do, you have to get the oven hot, like 450 degrees. Then quick put it together, throw it in the oven. Then you can turn it down to 350, but you've got to get that bottom crust hard in a hurry, because if you don't, the juice will soak into the bottom crust, because there gets to be a lot of juice in rhubarb. No, that looks fine. No. Yeah, because I was worried, because my sister-in-law did that one time. Well, the last time she made rhubarb pie, which was quite a few years ago. She made it ahead of time and let it sit in the refrigerator, and then just before supper she threw it in. Well, by then the bottom crust had got soaked, and it turns out to be like a toffee, like what's in the middle of a Heath bar, you know, that hard stuff. That's what the crust was like. You know, you went to cut it, and the knife just went clink when it hit that bottom crust. You know, it wasn't going to go through. So we referred to that as alien hide pie. You know, joking, they said that should be what they should use to replace them tiles on a space shuttle, because that stuff was like bulletproof. But she still doesn't see humor in this, and to this day she has not made another rhubarb pie. Oh yeah, great. Yep. Oh, I'm a chef, man. But now I got a bunch of this stored up ahead of time, because that's easy enough to make a pie. You know, it's kind of funny. Like I said, this came off that abandoned farmstead, or, you know, where I know there was a place at one time, but there was nothing left. But one of the clues around here, if you find a place that has got rhubarb growing out in a mysterious place that you didn't expect, and a lot of times lilacs, that's a dead giveaway that at one time somebody was homesteading there, because every homesteader, you had to have rhubarb. They call it a pie plant. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. Man, I got enough to keep me going for a while. It'd be good in winter.